and transformation and transmission of feelings. And we welcome our dear spiritual brother John Remmer. Good to see you for this short but very, very intense heart-to-heart sharings. Today, as we enter on the fourth session of our heart-to-heart learning, it is important to reflect upon the spiritual traditions and the sacred community importance of society and the vision that brings together the communities. We would be sharing this for about 25 minutes, and then we can have some question and answers and sharing. So I will start with one of the verses of the Quran which talks about community and society. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. It's from the Quranic verses of chapter number 2 and verses 213. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. People were one community, and God sent unto them prophets as bearers of good tidings and as warners, and revealed therein the scripture with the truth, that it might judge between people concerning that wherein they differed. Another verses of the chapter number 21 and verses number 92. This community of yours is a single community. Here, when we have a deep reflection, the concept of community learning is so essential. And to stand by these teachings, which give us the sense of solidarity in terms of coming together. One of the key concepts of the Quranic doctrines of community and society and the sacred Islamic perspective is that community is one body. And one of the hadith Mubarak is that if any part of the body is disturbed or injured, it will send pain to the whole body. And this is what we are living today in one world as one family. Any part of the world which is disturbed, we feel the pain. We must feel the pain, not just overlook, because slowly and gradually it will affect us directly or indirectly. There is no doubt that in Islamic spiritual tradition, meant to create a community based upon justice, which is in the pursuit of the divine law, was made possible not just by injunctions for private behavior, but also our public dealings on day-to-day surroundings. In the debate between those who claim that the primacy of the society and those who emphasize the primal significance of the individual, Islamic spiritual tradition takes the middle path and believe that this polarization is in fact based on the false dichotomy. There is no society without the individuals, nor can the individual survive without the society. The social nature of human being is part of wisdom of God's creation. And the Quran Kareem asserts, there is no secret conference of three, but he is their fourth, nor of five, but he is their sixth, nor of less that or more, but he is with them wheresoever they may be. Chapter number 58 and verse number 7. This truth does not differ our understanding of the omnipresent presence of God around us, within us, whichever direction we look into, but also to the profound reality of God's presence within us, within our heart, which is the center of any individual. Now, when we look at these revelations and the need to reflect upon these revelations are important to see that the guiding forces that we are today as a community or a society, a multifaceted society, a multilingual society, multi-race society, multi-religious society, how are we interacting with each other? Is it on the surface level? Is it on the superficial level? Or is it beyond to the level of heart to heart where even words transcend for understanding? When we look at the life and the teaching of the saints, just now I came back from Dargah Ajmer Sharif, so it's a beautiful community here. From morning to evening, we receive people from all faith. And this is a tradition which goes back to the 11th century, from the time of Hazrat Khawaja Moinuddin Chishty Sufi. From the 11th century till the 21st century. Just today, if I share my experience, that morning I received somebody from Delhi who was from the Brahmin family. After that, a group of people came who were from the different faith tradition. And in the evening, I received our sister from Mumbai, who have just been called here. And when they are all here for the noble purpose and the intention of seeking the divine closeness by being with people, not being by isolation or being by themselves, by being in a community service, by being in the community receiving and enhancing their experience from learning from each other. This is where community and societies are important, where we stand together and learn from each other. Around the world, there are many organizations, many groups coming together from time to time, bringing together interfaith leaders. One such group that we are working very, very closely for many years is Humanitarian. And our brother John Rammer is here. He has been one of the most important person, an important soul for connecting inward as well as outward with a global network of community feeling. So this kind of service, when we are uniting the hearts from across the border, across the continents, and then we start learning from each other. Those learning we start sharing within our region. If I learn something from our brother John Rammer, his skills of communication, his skills of uniting people, this is something I try to reconnect with the people here in Ajmer Sharif, in India, or the rural areas of Rajasthan. So this is a great depth that is being provided to us when we truly honor that each of us as part of the community are bestowed with some sacred trust. And are we truly honoring that sacred trust or not? It is essential to also distinguish between the ideal society, the moral, and the society which is based on justice and moral values. If these are not being taken in the real understanding, then the situation of miscommunication and misunderstanding within the society often feel and sees, and that leads to the worst situations of even violence within the society. We have seen wars, we have seen situations, sectarian violences. So when we are talking about the noble revelations of all faith, where they ask us to live as one body, and any body which gets hurt or which gets disturbed, it reflects pain and sorrow in the whole body. So are we really not feeling that pain? Let's say if something is happening in Africa, or something is happening in South Asia, or Central Asia, or Southeast Asia, or North America. If there are hurricanes are coming in, are we not feeling? Right now there is flood happening. Are we not part of that disturbance? Maybe not directly, but indirectly we feel the pain because of the social media, which is connecting us positively. There are positive sides of the social media, that we all connected with our cell phone, with our different platforms. We know more than ever than before. Let's say about 20 years back, we might not be so aware of what is happening into the different continents. But now, with a flick of a second, or just click on different accounts, we know that something, not everything, but most of the thing we come to know through these platforms. So are we not reflecting? There are a lot of trends on Twitter nowadays when there are some violence happens, when natural disasters come, that pray for a certain country, pray for a certain area. So those are collective prayers which are being mobilized throughout the world. Do we think that these are just a formalities or just the presence of social media? No, these are real prayers which do have real effect. These are not just like that we put on that. Our intentions are together in putting that like or even our words of prayer when a request comes from different parts of the world. And truly, we know that the prayers do affect the heart, the prayers do affect the situations, the prayers do affect the deep longing and belonging. And it is prayer and the service towards the creation which even change the destinies sometimes which we are not destined to. So never lose our hope in prayers and service to the creation. Khizmat-e khalq. If we think that maybe something is not, we are not destined to, a lot of young people, when I'm talking with in universities or different colleges or especially online these days, we interact with a lot of young people from different communities. And sometimes, they don't get high grades, high school children or college graduates. They don't get their desired jobs, or maybe they don't get, their desired life partner. And many challenges come to them. And sometimes they go it impacts them, the mind. It impacts so heavily that they go into a sense of depression. About a couple of months, there was a international World Suicide Day. We spoke at one of the online forums that depression, distress, and ultimately losing hope and believing that they are not destined to achieve what they had prepared for, what they have studied for, or what they have worked hard for, just because of short setbacks. Setbacks should make us strong. And the community has to stand by together if there are some setbacks among individuals, among organizations, or who have not been able to honor the commitment that were made to them. Because destinies are changed by consistency of prayers and serving the humanity. So never feel that I'm not destined. And the most when I was talking on that international side, when people go in depression, and the most extreme form of this losing hope is that people, even young people, are engaging in suicidal situations. This is where our community, starting from our own home, our family, we are a community as a family, we are a community as a neighborhood, we are a community as a district. We must, from time to time, we have town halls, we have places in times when there was no mobile, when there was no technology in India, and especially today in Rajasthan, in different villages, there are community sitting areas in villages under a tree. There would be a place where they will call it is a community center area under a tree in a village, and everybody after their day's work would come together under that tree, and for about an hour or two they would just discuss how was your day and what everything is okay, and things which are very humanistic, not very digital. Now we often come together on WhatsApp group, sometimes family make their own group, and even if you're living in the same house, you are communicating on WhatsApp, which is still better than no communication, still better. So we still travel to some of the villages across Rajasthan and see that these elders would sit on a round cemented circle, and the youngsters would sit down or on a mat, and they would just share some of their experiences of life, how they grew up into this village, what was the time of the crop, seasonal crop, why there is not enough crop, what is the disadvantages of using chemicals into fertilizers into crop, and the soil is dying, and the new generation would just listen to them. And these kind of discourses often goes missing into the urban lifestyle. So often we must try to engage these dialogues between the elders of the society into their 60s or the 70s, not just, when we meet them, just greet them salam and hello, how are you, and then continue on our path. One of the key problem that within the community, we think that we are communicating, but the real problem is that we are not communicating enough. What is happening that when we see our elders, out of respect, we will bow down, we'll give them our salam, we'll give them a greeting of peace, and then we'll walk away to our own, a fast-paced lifestyle. So we have just restricted our relation with our elders, our grandparents, our teachers who taught us during school time on a formal note of greetings and respect, okay. But beyond that, because of the fast-paced life, our commitments, we don't give enough time. And this is something that need to change. We need to sit in front of the elders. Recently, we appealed to our community elders also that there are a lot of spiritual traditions which we just have heard, and a lot of young generation, they don't even have heard those traditions. So we want to hear from you, away from the digitalization, away from just seeking answers on Google, typing something on Google and getting something what was happening 100 years back. No, we want to hear from the real elders of the community. Sit in front of us and tell us how it was 50 years back. How was your day? If you're going to the Dargah, if you're going to this the shrine, what was your way of interaction? How you were welcoming the devotees, the seekers, if they were coming with broken hearts? What was your way of mending the hearts of the seekers? Are we doing the same? Or we are just, because of it is too rush and we are just, moving from one seeker to another seeker and not giving enough time for healing of the hearts. I think these are the important reflections that we must not overlook. And with compassion, love, and beauty of applying this compassion into our daily life, we must bring back those sacred traditions which move the heart, not only our mind. Because with all the digitalization, I'm very sure, I'm saying this with full responsibility, that all the digital communication may move our mind. All the Google search may feed us intellectually, but it's very, very difficult or almost impossible that these digital feedbacks can move a human heart. A human heart can only be moved with a human sharing and human caring. We need to get back to the heart's caring and sharing. I will conclude on one of the notes which we wrote for the importance of unconditional love. One of the God's names from the 99 sacred names, Asmaul Husna, is Al-Wadud. Al-Wadud, it's love. And in the Quran, there are numerous references of love. It's like Al-Hub. And when it said God will bring a people whom He loves and who love Him, there is a centitude for the seekers that God is all loving and He is all compassionate and all forgiving, as stated in the verses of the chapter number 11, verses number 90 of the Quran Kareem. Surely my Lord is all merciful, all loving, and He is all forgiving and all loving. Even the Prophet Muhammad's following of the God's commands related to his love for God. For the sacred text states, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon you, if ye love God, then follow me. One of the titles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in fact Habibullah, usually translated as the friend of God or the beloved of God. In Christian traditions, it is said that God is love, and often from the perspective of Islam, is for having a conception of God that is devoid of understanding the human compassion. We must never understand that there is a devoid of understanding between human love, which we relate as the ishq majazi, In all faith traditions, in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, there is a very, very sacred aspect of God's love. In Sufi tradition, we say ishq majazi leads to ishq hakiki. Ishq majazi is the love that we have when we are sent to this world. Sometimes some of the extremists, some of the radicals, or some of the Maulvis, they say ishq majazi is not good. But ishq majazi, in the right perspective, which is the love that we have for our mother, the love we have for our family, the love that we have for our children, the love we have for a comfortable life, which is not bad. You can have a comfortable life, you can have love for your family, for your children, for your friends. That is perfectly okay. And ultimately, this love will lead you to the greater love, the ishq hakiki, the love for God, the divine love. And that ishq hakiki translate into your being as the one reflecting on your ishq majazi when you're dealing with the world. It will never take you away from that compassion, mercy, and justice when you are living with that ishq hakiki and dealing with the ishq majazi, the worldly celebration and joy that comes to you when you look at your child, when your child is sleeping, when the child is smiling, when you're looking at your mother, when your mother is putting her hand on your forehead. That is the joy and that is the love that takes us ultimately to the divine love. So we conclude this as we have about 15 minutes of question and answers. As something that I'm wearing today, it is a Persian poetry. I often wear this. John has seen this seen wearing this when we were in Jerusalem, when we were traveling different parts of the world. So it's a contemporary poetry on ishq, on love. It says, ishq bashad, zindagi tamam bashad. Ishq na bashad, zindagi tamam shud na bashad. Which translate that if you have love, your life becomes complete. If you don't have love, then your life remains incomplete. So let's not keep our life incomplete by dividing ourselves. When we are not expressing enough love, we are not depriving the person we are not expressing enough love. We are depriving our own self to experience that divine love. So with this note, lots of duas and blessings. And I would like our dear spiritual brother and elder, John Remmer, to just come in and share some words with some of the seekers from Dubai, from different parts of the world who are online and who are seeing live telecast on different platforms.
My gosh, what a beautiful surprise to hear from you and your teaching. Thank you, dear brother. Oh my gosh. Your knowledge serves my heart and our planet at this time. That we find each other with love and compassion.
Ameen.
Oh my gosh. I asked my family to dream tonight on a question that Gregory Bateson asked, which is simple but powerful. He asked, what is the pattern that connects the crab to the lobster and the orchid to the primrose, and all four of them to me and me to you? What is the pattern?
Ooh, that's the power. I mean.
And your wisdom and determination to share and to ensure that there is peace and love in our hearts and in our lives and in our world is a great gift, my brother. Thank you for reaching out to me at this time. Thank you for keeping this fire.
We are honored to have your presence, and as Khawaja Gharib Nawaz, Moinuddin Chishty, which you have experienced when you visited India. We went to Delhi and Nizamuddin Aulia together. We were together in the spiritual bliss and blessing. And the foundational message is love towards all, malice towards none, hate towards none, violence towards none. And that love is that we need to seek and we need to share. Seeking and sharing will take us to the deeper level of who we are and what is the purpose of our creation. Our purpose of creation is nothing but to share this divine love and take people closer to themselves, closer to who they are, and closer to their purpose of creation.
Well, you demonstrated that, your generosity, your beautiful family, the wisdom and the time you took to teach us and to share. That touched us forever.
Ameen, Ameen. Thank you, thank you, John.
Dear brother. So good to hear from you and see you.
So we have any questions? Fatima Farah Chishty Sahiba from Dubai is here. Any questions we have? We can indulge in
Yes,
some
Salman.
questions. Yes.
One question. You said about the unconditional love, the Quran chapter number 11 or what? Like,
We will
we
send you
discussed
the
about...
note. We will send you the note that we have written.
Okay, fine, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Al-Wadud, one of the names, the 99 names of Allah subhanahu, one of the names is Al-Wadud, which is love, divine love and grace that moves our heart. And when this is moving our heart, truly that divine love moves the mountains, moves the universe. It's all in sync. You see how a dervish is moving, it's sync in this synchronization of the universe. See, this is a dervish that we got from Konya. And when you see, it is in sync with the universe. And when you see that the one hand is towards the sky and one hand is towards the earth, that is, you receive this divine love from the creator from one hand, and you give this love to the earth with your other hand. That's what the dervish and the seeking heart demonstrate in all his life. We have Zara Shabnam Sahiba, Nazis Riyaz Sahiba, and all of those who are online. So lots of duas and blessings. Any more questions? Any sharing? Anything that you want to share from your heart, from your experience? We'll be happy to receive.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh ji.
Thank you very much for the talk. And I specifically love this concept of sharing and caring of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what, as you suggested, that just feeding the mind alone isn't going to work. It's the sharing and caring of the heart and keeping things in the balance will be helpful. And just contemplating, my family is in Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, they're not in a part where the flooding is happening, but it's just so devastating to see all that is going on in Pakistan. And also today I heard in Afghanistan as well. So it's good to be in this space with you and everybody else. Thank you.
And we have been praying. We have seen some of those devastating images. As I spoke earlier during this talk as well, that we are all as part of one body, and any disturbance in any part of the world surely affect us mentally, spiritually, even physically. Although maybe we might not be into that situation. So we pray that Allah gives strength to those who are bracing the storm, bracing the flood, and overcome. We have seen the livestock being washed away. We have seen the houses, people. So it's very disturbing. And this is ultimately, these are the results when we become unconscious. We are not conscious enough to the nature, to the providence that we have been given, and we start tampering with the natural resources. We start tampering with what we have been given. We start cutting across those mountains, cutting across those fields, making artificial roadways for dams. And so these are the situation. It's not only that is happening in Pakistan, but many different countries where we look at Africa, we look at South Asia. It's tampering with the nature lead us to this situation, and we hope that good sense prevail among the leadership and those who make those decisions where we restrict tampering with the nature, inshallah. And may Allah give us the strength, may God give us that strength to really apply the wisdom of living in peace and harmony with the natural resources. The moment we start disturbing and taking advantage and exploiting the natural resources, unfortunately, we are facing this situation. May Allah give us all the strength, inshallah, to overcome and not do excess of tampering with the nature. That's our duas from Ajmer Sharif. Alhamdulillah, this is the month of Muharram is going to conclude. Earlier we had sessions for honoring Muharram, honoring the Ahl Bayt, the supreme sacrifice of Ahl Bayt. And now the month of Safar, and then it will be Miladun Nabi. So we will be moving on to different subjects and deliberations as in the next coming week. I would request that for the next week, we have some more questions in terms of, to make some notes. We would continue with the importance of societal upliftment. So if you can make some notes at the end of our remarks, would be about 25 minutes. I would be shortening the remarks to 20-25 minutes so that we have more interactive sessions. So with those notes, we can have the tafsir, we can have the definitions along with those notes, inshallah. John, I'm so happy to see you. You are shining. You are a shining light among us. And give our regards to our Unity Earth family and all the different organizations that you are instrumental in bringing to our part of the world, in different parts of the world. John Reimer is a very, very important person, or as I mentioned earlier, that he's taking the unheard voices, the unheard feelings, experiences to different parts of the world, and dedicatedly, single-handedly across the world, he's putting forth different organizations in touch with each other, different conferences, different online sessions, and their platform has been very, very important for truly realizing the vision of one world, one family, one living, and one serving.
Well, yeah. I just put a link to Peace Week.
Mm-hmm.
What's beautiful, the International Day of Peace is September 21st. But it's also World Gratitude Day.
Mm-hmm.
And gratitude is such a beautiful doorway to peace. It's in that spirit I say I am so grateful to you, brother, and to everyone who's here for bringing forth the will to peace, the will to love, with such gentleness and power. Join us, peaceweek.org. You can learn more. This is a time for all of us as we move between worlds, from a world no longer to a world not yet. We're right there together. We are one.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are together in this one. And thank you for sharing the Peace Week. We will surely put a session together around that time on gratitude and patience. We will dedicate that session and the talk just on gratitude when you wake up and patience when you sleep. Shukr and sabr, inshallah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I will follow up with you with Ben to find a good time to share with the world your message during Peace Week.
Absolutely. I look forward to joining Ben and everybody together. I look forward for the conclusion of the 99 days of peace, which has been happening from last 99 days. Absolutely looking forward.
I'm so glad you reached out to me. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Lots of duas and blessings to all of you. Remember us in your prayers, and let's celebrate love, honor love in the divine presence, which is within us, within our heart. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. Lots of duas and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.